Hello, I'm Victoria Weather Meteorologist Ryan Henning with a look at Monroe, Louisiana on this fine Wednesday evening. It feels kind of like Monday, but also kind of like Friday just because of the weird holiday situation that's going on. We're looking at downtown Monroe right here. I forget what river it's on. Maybe that's something I could have looked up before we started this forecast, but it's a good looking town. I've been there. This isn't the Mississippi. It's too far to the west for it to be the Mississippi River. Um, I went to a college basketball game once there between Louisiana Monroe University and or University of Louisiana Monroe, as they prefer to be called, and the University of Denver. Uh, so that was my wild youth. But we're looking at um, northern Louisiana. So it's this site right here, MLU, 81 degrees currently with fair skies. There are a few isolated thunderstorms. They're not showing up because they're between Ruston and Shreveport right now. So there's not any sites that are actually reporting the thunderstorms. I can show you where they are on the radar. Some very isolated storms. Mostly they're going to be producing fairly frequent lightning. You can see in this report from Ruston, the LTG DSNT there towards the end of it. They're reporting lightning, but no thunderstorms. It's lightning distance to the southwest and west. Um, and it's kind of just floating in that area. It's not really moving too quickly to the east. Um, they're producing lightning, like I said, some brief localized torrential downpours. We can't rule it out for Monroe overnight. And actually, um, with warm air being fed towards the boundary that's producing those isolated thunderstorms, the temperature has gone up 2 degrees in the last half hour or so, which is rather unusual for 11:30 at night. So let's take a quick look at this area of convection again. It runs from around College Station up through north central Louisiana. It's actually all tied with this complex that's moving through the Nashville area right now. It shows up a little bit better on satellite. You can see this big bubbly area of thunderstorms moving through north central Tennessee, and then this trailing band, it shows up as a nicer, more pronounced line through northwestern Mississippi, but you can extrapolate it all the way down into Texas. And you can see the general flow is broadly northwest to southeast. So there's not a lot of momentum to carry these thunderstorms towards Monroe, but there is quite a bit of instability just because it's so hot and humid. There could be an isolated shower or thunderstorm overnight that develops ahead of this line, and it's tough to say that Monroe is going to be out of the woods overnight tonight. So obviously this whole feature is going to be the big driving force for the next couple of days. As we look at Monroe's forecast, there's some broad circulation up over the lower Ohio Valley from Missouri into Kentucky and Tennessee. So we're going to want to keep an eye on that as it moves forward. You can see the closed area low pressure as it shifts to the east. It's midnight here in Minnesota, and my dogs are freaking out because that's just what they do. So we're going to be able to see it march slowly to the east, but keep an eye on the showers and storms over the southern Arkansas and northern Louisiana. They're not moving, so that's a sign that this weak area low pressure is not bringing in an air mass change that could affect the weather too significantly in northern Louisiana. So despite this, an actual bona fide, identifiable, analyzable feature in the region, there's not going to be a marked change for northern Louisiana in terms of temperature, air mass, etc. Once it shifts out of there, it's going to be drier. The sun's going to shine a little bit brighter, so this weekend's going to be warmer. But for the next couple of days, I don't really foresee much change in the forecast pattern. There's still going to be those isolated thunderstorms in Monroe, pretty much just like what we're seeing right now. The coverage isn't going to be great. If they do see anything, it's just going to park. Could bring an inch or two of rain in a very brief period. but that would be extremely unlucky because you saw those cells. They're not very big, so they're not going to hit too many spots. So they could see a trace, they could see an inch. It's all just going to be a matter of luck. We can see the driving force behind this too. It's a lower level trough. You can see it kind of making its dip from Michigan southwest towards northern Arkansas. And it's going to shift out of there. Upper level ridge is going to take its place. So even though that surface trough still extends through Louisiana, as time progresses, the thunderstorm threat is going to be a little bit more diminished. But like I said, temperatures are going to be the same. Cloud cover is going to be about the same. So we're going to look at temperatures with highs in the mid 90s like it was today, lows in the low 70s again like it was today. Just not a lot of change coming to the region. Excuse me, mid 70s, not low 70s. But you can see after that boundary clears out, clouds are less comprehensive. So there's a could be a spike towards the upper 90s in terms of temperature. That's the problem with northern Louisiana. They don't have that gulf to moderate the temperature quite as much, so it can get fairly warm, even with the humidity in Monroe. And that's what we're looking at for the next couple of days. It's going to be hot, kind of their typical hot, and then after this forecast period ends, as we go towards the weekend, it's going to be much, much warmer. But the next couple of days, high probably around 94 like it was today, low around 75. Isolated thunderstorms each of those 2 days. Good day to stay hydrated and check on the elderly, all that good stuff. And find a pool somewhere. That's the best part of a hot day. I wouldn't jump in that river that Monroe is on. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't trust swimming in rivers. But find a way to stay cool if you're in the Monroe area. Have a good night, and I hope you enjoyed your 4th of July. This has been Victoria Weather Meteorologist Ryan Henning.